The 7 details that make a Parisian home look truly expensive. Walk into a tiny Parisian apartment, and you might wonder how such a cramped space can feel so graceful. There may be barely enough room for a sofa, a small dining table, and a narrow passage between them. Yet somehow the room feels composed rather than crowded. That is the fascinating secret of Parisian interiors. Expensive-looking homes are rarely about buying expensive things. They are about choosing a few details carefully and allowing each one to matter. The first detail is lighting. In a small Parisian home, harsh overhead lighting can immediately make the room feel ordinary and even smaller. Instead, French interiors often rely on several gentle sources of light: a brass wall lamp, a shaded table lamp, or a warm floor lamp tucked beside a chair. The effect is subtle but powerful. Shadows become softer, textures become richer, and inexpensive furniture can suddenly appear more sophisticated. Good lighting does not simply illuminate a room, it gives the room an atmosphere. The second detail is architectural character. Even a modest Paris studio can feel special when its original features are respected. Perhaps there is an ornate ceiling molding, an old wooden floor, tall French windows, or a classic fireplace that has survived for generations. These elements tell a story before the furniture even enters the room. When decorating a small space, preserving these details can be far more effective than adding decoration. The architecture becomes the artwork, giving the apartment a sense of history that new furniture cannot easily reproduce. The third detail is choosing one piece that has personality. Parisian rooms rarely need every chair, table, and cabinet to compete for attention. A beautifully shaped vintage armchair, An antique writing desk, or a small marble-top table can become the quiet star of the room. In a cramped apartment, this approach is especially useful. Instead of filling every corner, choose one memorable object and let the surrounding space breathe. The room begins to feel curated, almost as if everything was collected slowly over many years. The fourth detail is texture. This is where a small apartment can feel surprisingly luxurious without becoming extravagant. Velvet, linen, aged wood, marble, brass, wool, and woven fabrics create visual depth. Imagine a simple cream sofa paired with a velvet cushion, an old wooden side table, and a small brass lamp. Nothing is particularly excessive, yet the combination feels rich. This is an important lesson from French design. When space is limited, it is often better to improve the quality and texture of what you already have rather than simply adding more objects. The fifth detail may be the hardest one to learn: knowing when to stop. A Parisian home can contain beautiful objects without looking like a showroom. There is usually some empty space around furniture, some breathing room on shelves, and perhaps one wall that is intentionally quiet. This restraint creates elegance. In a tiny apartment, every unnecessary object competes for attention and makes the room feel smaller. Leaving something out can therefore be just as important as choosing what to put in. Sometimes luxury is simply the confidence to say, "This is enough." The sixth detail is a restrained color palette. Parisian interiors often begin with quiet foundations: warm ivory, soft beige, faded gray, walnut brown, or muted cream, and then introduce deeper tones through furniture and accessories. Perhaps there is a dark green velvet chair or a deep burgundy cushion that quietly catches your eye. These contrasts give the room character without overwhelming it. In a compact studio, a consistent color story also helps separate pieces feel connected, making the entire apartment appear more intentional and therefore more expensive. The seventh detail is perhaps the most human of all, something with history. It could be an old framed photograph, a small painting found at a flea market, a weathered mirror, or a piece of furniture inherited from family. These objects do something that expensive new decorations often cannot. They make the room feel lived in. A truly elegant Parisian home does not try to look perfect. It feels as though someone has lived there, traveled, collected things, changed their mind, and kept the objects that still mean something to them. When you put all 7 ideas together, something interesting happens. The apartment does not need to become larger to feel more luxurious. Instead, the eye begins to notice quality, proportion, texture, light, and history. A tiny room with an old mirror, warm lighting, one beautiful chair, and a quiet color palette can feel considerably more sophisticated than a much larger room filled with expensive furniture. That is the real Parisian lesson. Elegance is not created by abundance. It is created by intention. Every detail has a reason to be there. Perhaps that is why Parisian homes continue to fascinate us. They remind us that luxury does not always announce itself. Sometimes it is the glow of a small lamp at the end of the evening, the worn edge of an antique table, the softness of velvet beside an old wooden floor, or the empty space around a single beautiful object. In a cramped apartment, these choices become even more meaningful. So if you want your own home to feel truly expensive, you do not necessarily need more things. You may simply need better light, richer textures, stronger character, and the confidence to let a few beautiful details speak for themselves.